What's going on, guys, and thank you for watching Wild Fed Family. Now, if you have any sort of property you hunt, whether you lease it, you own it, or you simply just have permission to hunt on it, then most likely you have some trails that you're utilizing to get in and out of that property. Now, I have probably 3 to 4 miles worth of trails, and it is a daunting task every spring and summer to keep those clean. Well, at least it used to be. I'm going to show you what I do to keep my trails clear the cheapest and most effective way. So keep on watching, and this will make your life 10 times easier. So for about 2 years, I used to ride around on this four-wheeler with a machete, a chainsaw, a pole saw, and I used to slowly work my way down the trails, knocking down limbs, weed eating the trails, clearing them away. I don't have a tractor, I don't have a bush hog, but I had a four-wheeler to carry my tools around. Well, what my four-wheeler does now is it carries this 25-gallon sprayer. And this sprayer has a big boom in the back, and I'll show you more of that once we get out there because I don't want to kill the grass on my lawn. And it also has a wand sprayer. Now, this will probably cover about 1.5 to 2 miles of trails, running at about 4 to 5 miles an hour while I'm spraying. And what I'm spraying is a mixture of water and glyphosate. Now, this is a 3-gallon jug and it cost me $70, and it usually lasts me about 2 years from Tractor Supply. So here's the cost breakdown of this. You have $35 a year and you have a $200 sprayer. Now, over the years, you're definitely gonna earn that back. Now, I would rather spend $100 a year to do it this way than to go through with a machete and sweat my butt off and work all day long. So let me show you the ins and outs of this, and we'll get to clearing some trails. Now, this is the glyphosate. Inside here there's a whole packet, and it'll show you all of the mixing ratios, and if you want, you can do the math and match it up perfect. What I've done for the last couple years, I did the math once and I just said, you know what, 2.5 mason jars, this is a quart size jar, and the 25-gallon tank does it for me. So that's what I do. So let's add this glyphosate, however you say it. Let's add it to the tank, and we'll add some water too. So here in Georgia, spring is in full bloom, and this is really the best time to do it. When you start getting young plants that are trying to get established, this is when you want to spray them down, and it's going to stunt them for the rest of the season. Now, I really only have to do this once a year, and it takes about a couple hours, and I'm never going to go back to doing it a different way. There's one, and this is not the same jug that I just showed you. This was from 2 seasons ago, so you can see how long this stuff lasts. But let me grab that other jug and we'll top off the rest of it. One more thing is that you don't have to have a four-wheeler for this. If you have a golf cart, a side-by-side, all that will work too. Yeah, they make these sprayers for that. I'm actually going to put a link in the description if I can find it to this specific one that I got on Amazon. And hopefully that'll give you a starting point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Got to fill this thing up with water, and we'll hit the trails. All right, so we got it filled up, and you can see the back of the four-wheeler is squatting a little bit. Now, I recommend not getting more than a 25-gallon tank, as a gallon of water weighs roughly 8 pounds, so 25 times 8 is 200. You got 200 pounds on the back, and I weigh roughly 200, 210. So you don't want to overload your four-wheeler. Now, if you have a side-by-side, you can probably get something that can handle a bigger tank. But for me, this does the trick, and I have to fill it up twice, and it's not that big of a deal. right, now that ride was only a couple hundred yards down the road, and this is the first spot that I pulled up to. Now, if you watch my deer mineral video, this is one of the areas that I put out, and this was the granular form over the salt lick. Now, as you can see, all of that has not only worked its way into the soil, but been eaten up by deer. And there is a ton of deer tracks all around here. They've been using this frequently, and they just love it. So I just wanted to point that out to you. But let's keep going on trail spraying. All right, now you can see my trail that I've made going down and weaving through the woods there. And it doesn't look too bad, but I want to point out something to you. This is all the stuff that we're trying to spray, because if you let that stuff grow up any longer, it's going to be 10 times harder for you to get up and kill once it actually has an established root ball. Now, I want to kill this stuff off early, and it's never going to come back until about this time next year, which is really all new seed that is falling on this trail. All right, now this pump is super easy to use. There's actually a lever right here that when turned, it controls this boom. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like, because this is our starting point and I'm now out of my yard. So this pump runs constant pressure and releases on demand, and the pump will kick on as soon as the pressure gets below a certain PSI. For this setting, I have it set at like 60, 65 pounds of pressure. So let me kick this on and I'll give you a demonstration of what it looks like. Now, as you can see, I'm well off each side of the trail. I probably have a 8 to 10 foot spray on this. So not only is it going to spray the stuff that's on the trail, but it's also going to knock down the stuff on the sides as well to keep it from intruding on the existing trail. But all we got to do now is just simply get on, stay at about 4 to 5 miles an hour, and just ride this thing through the woods. And that's as easy as it gets. So not only is all that super easy, you just gotta sit back and ride these trails, but it's also really nice for clearing out areas around stands, feeders, etc. Now, for the most part, the deer do a pretty good job of keeping all that down just by their natural travel coming here. But I always do a loop around the stands. Now, one more thing you can use the wand sprayer for that I don't typically use except for this reason is when you have a stand up in a tree and you have a little walking trail that comes off, it's good to go ahead and spray just a narrow trail so that as you're coming in and out of your stand location, there's less things that are brushing up against you, not only to reduce noise, but less things to leave your scent off. And I want to show you a really good example here. Now, this is my trail coming through here. Last year, this time is the last time that I sprayed this trail. Now, it would look as green as everything else does on each side of the trail. But like I said, it lasts a really long time. It's not until new seed falls on the soil that it starts to germinate and come up on your new trails. That's why I do it in the spring. Now, a lot of people have like really bad feelings towards glyphosate, active ingredient and Roundup. And I want to say one thing: I do not use it where I eat. I don't use it in my gardens. Now, when I put in a new food plot, I'll spray it once. After that, I'll just till and manage it other ways. But as far as trails, glyphosate is a foliar spray. Now, it cannot kill a plant by getting in the soil and poisoning the soil. That's not how it works. It gets in the leaves, and I'm not 100% sure on how it actually breaks it down. I want to say it reduces the ability for the plant to make chlorophyll, etc. But it has to have leaves. Now, the best thing to do is spray stuff while it is nice and green, and that's why I do it in the spring. One last quick tip. Now, I am here in Middle Georgia, and at this time of year is when the snakes start coming out and moving around a little bit. So make sure that you're wearing appropriate footwear, not only for snakes and ticks. I know Jesus probably wore sandals, and he crushed the serpent's head figuratively and literally with his heel, but you know what, I'm not that cool. So what I prefer to use is a 9mm with rat shot. I keep that on me while I'm out here, so just be careful and don't step on snakes, because it's probably gonna hurt. So I have about 3 more miles of trails to keep on spraying, so I'm gonna keep on working on that. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned something new. I say give it a try, because this is my most important tool when it comes to land management, when it comes to keeping trails clear, and when it comes to saving a ton of time for a very small price. I highly recommend it, and I'd spend hours and hours and a lot of sweat out here if I didn't have it. So if you have a four-wheeler and you have a side-by-side, go ahead and go this route, because you're never going to do it a different way. If you don't have either, there's a 5-gallon backpack sprayer. I know it may seem like a lot walking trails with that, but I'll tell you what, it's definitely easier than walking trails with a chainsaw and dragging stuff out of the way while you're getting pricked, poked, and covered in ticks. Now, I want to say thank you for watching. Go ahead and like the video, share the video, and I really just hope that I'm saving a bunch of people time, and I want to keep a lot more videos coming like this down the pipeline. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and I'm going to catch up with you on the next video. But right now, I'm going to jump on that four-wheeler, keep on riding, keep on spraying, keep on keeping trails clear, and I'll see you next time. Bye.